And we are live. Welcome. It is Tuesday, August 24th, 2021, and this is the Unlock the Middle Navigating Leadership AP Roundtable. We keep making this name longer and longer, but thank you. We have some awesome assistant principals from across the country joining us tonight, and we are going to hear about their experiences from the AP chair. I'm AJ Bianco, heading to my second year as an assistant principal in New Jersey. Loving what I'm doing, but we have a huge year ahead of us. And we are going to talk about tonight exactly what we are doing to start the year to support our teachers, our students, and the community. And I have some outstanding assistant principals and a principal with us tonight. And we cannot wait to get this thing started. So let me first kick it over to the man himself that allowed us to get this thing started. Dean, say what's up to the people.
AJ, how are you all tonight? Listen, Dean Packard, principal at Charlton Middle School, the co-founder of Unlock the Middle. This is just an honor to be with you guys tonight because I'll tell you what, my greatest years in leadership was when I was an assistant principal and I was just like a sponge, learning everything that I could from everybody that wanted to teach me. So again, every time I watch this, and I told AJ, listen, I'm sneaking in one of these nights because I want to be around what I call the greatest future leaders out there. And if you're watching, please pick our brains, ask questions, get involved. This is streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and where else we have? We have Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So please let us know where you're from. Jump in here because we're here to become better together. So AJ, thanks for having me. And what a great cast you have tonight.
We have some awesome people. Let me first, before we get to our awesome guests, let me get to my co-hosts, Ryan Scott, Mike Lavelle. Ryan, what's going on, man?
Hey guys, how's everybody doing? I'm glad to be back. I had to take a little hiatus for some family stuff, but it is great to be back in the house of the AP. I would tell you what, man, the AP world is super awesome. I love the AP world. I know all those people all around me tonight love the AP world as well, and it's great to be here.
It's great to have you, Mike. What's going on?
AJ, what's happening? It's good to be back, everybody. Great to be back here. Definitely had to take some time off because, it's summertime, and we have to do that, right? Got the Captain America shirt on today. Had to rock that because that's what I feel like we need to be. All of us in here as APs right now, we feel the crunch. When the pressure's on, you're making diamonds, right? And right now, there's some diamonds being made, let me tell you. It's crunch time. We got a week and a half away from opening up. We're ready to go. We're ready to rock. Lighting up those, kind of loose ends right now, those little odds and ends, but kids come for us next Wednesday, so it's showtime. Ready to go. Can't wait to hear from everybody tonight.
Got to be ready to go. As Dean said to me before, they're going to start no matter what, ready or not. So I guess bring on the pressure and let it go. All right, let's introduce our awesome people around us. We have 3 assistant principals, 1 as a returning guest. Let me start with you, Matt. How you doing?
Doing very well. Thanks for having me again. Hearing Mike speak, I'm ready to kind of run through a brick wall, but I'm excited to be back again. Matt Dunbar. I am technically the 6th grade administrator at Benjamin Franklin Middle School in Rocky Mount, Virginia. Again, we serve about 1,500 students, which blew AJ's mind the last time. We just completed day 10 of having the kids back in the building. It has been an interesting 10 days so far, to say the very least. We'll probably get to that in a little bit, but I'm super excited to be back.
No, thanks, Matt. Thanks for sharing that. And our 2 newbies. Ben, how are you? Welcome to the club.
I'm well. Thank you guys so much. I feel honored. I'm so excited. I've been watching the podcast and just been eating it up and been loving all the growth that I've been learning from all these leaders, and I'm excited to jump in and be a part of it.
We are glad to have you. And last but not least, Tika, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Hi, I am so excited to be here tonight. I am an assistant principal at J.T. McWilliams Elementary School in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. And this is my first year face-to-face with kids. I started just last January with my school. So I am so excited to be here and learn with everybody.
I love it. See, I knew we had Nevada, we have a Nevada, we got everything around here. We are covering all bases on this chat tonight. All right,
I'm
so
sad she missed that first part.
I know she missed the conversation, but that's all right. We'll have to focus a little bit. Yeah. Let me start with the first question. As mentioned, this is going to be a crazy year. So let's first put it out there, and I'll let somebody take it who wants to take it. What are some of the challenges that you are facing as the assistant principals this year at your school? Who's brave enough to take that first question?
I'll take it.
Go ahead,
Go ahead,
Tika.
Tika.
I was just going to say, this is our third week since we started school. And our biggest issue right now is staffing. It's lack of, and I've heard this all over the country, it's lack of substitutes, lack of staff, and the worry. You know, we want to make sure that our kids are getting the best teachers and the best support staff. And a lot of our staff across the district, they're either needing to stay home to take care of them, or they're not in education anymore. And it's a serious problem. And I know I've heard that across the country as well.
Yeah. Can I jump off of that one?
Go for it.
Yeah, so I'm at the high school, and we are starting our second week. And at the high school, we have 4 math teachers. And as of now, 3 of our 4 math teachers are either subs or non-certified people. We don't have enough bus drivers. We don't have enough cooks. Staffing is an extraordinary tough part this year. And now we are throwing on part of that. We are having staff quarantining left and right. And we are in a very rural district where subs are kind of non-existent anyway. And so, as an AP, I'm really struggling, and we are really struggling with having to do contact tracing, but then also trying to get into classrooms, trying to meet students, trying to, be the proactive behavior folks that I like to be. And so, it's definitely a challenge, but, it gives you something to look forward to every day you go to work. It's never a dull moment.
Never.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, Ben, take it. All you. You're the guest.
I was going to say, I'm in Southwest Missouri, Bolivar, Missouri, and I think our biggest challenge, probably all of us, is with COVID, and not necessarily staffing yet, but masks are still kind of a hot topic here. And we're one of the few districts around that had a mask requirement coming in. But it was honestly for our staff and for our students. With masks, here in Missouri, we have a modified quarantine. I don't know if that's how everyone else's state is handling quarantine, either vaccinated or wearing masks. But that has been the lens of why we are masking staff and students, just because we want kids in person and we want our staff here learning. And so that's been our focus is, hey, safety first and get the kids here. So we're wearing masks and encouraging everyone to get vaccinated. So it's been a hoop, but, instead of engaging in politics and beliefs, our lens is getting kids to school. Our focus is learning, and that's been a really, it's been a hoop, but it's been easy to navigate if we're talking about kids and focusing on learning.
Well said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, echoing kind of what everybody else has said. I mean, the challenge is the navigating what people may believe with the procedures that we have in place and what we have to follow, and that has become the difficulty. There are just certain things as school leaders that we have to do. This is what we've been told, and these are the guidelines that we follow and that have been laid out for us. So I think balancing what people might want with what we have to do, that's been challenging. And for us, and I talked about this last time, I've got 12 elementary schools pouring into my 1 6th grade building. So even when we are contact tracing, I don't know these kids yet. We've had them for 10 days. So going to the camera in the cafeteria, trying to figure out who was next to who and all that. I mean, they're just little things that have made typical operations of an administrator very, very difficult and challenging, like you guys said. But, in all of that, still trying to bring that level of energy when you're in the hallways, when you're in the cafeteria, when you're interacting with staff, but knowing that on your shoulder, or all the weight of the world on your back, trying to piece all those things together.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I feel like this year is going to be harder than last year. I think expectations are going to be higher. I think parents are going to be demanding more. I'm in New Jersey, so a couple of things we have going on right now. We have a statewide mask requirement in school. Governor just dropped information that we are going to be having mandatory vaccinations for teachers starting in October. So right there, I see challenges by itself. Whether teachers are not feeling comfortable with the vaccination, whatever the case may be, whether it's their personal choice or whether there's something, with their health. Now they have to do it. How's that going to impact their teaching? Staffing, definitely we're missing staff. Like, granted, we have all of our teachers in place, but I am short lunch aides. I am short paraprofessionals. And that's a big part of what we're doing in the classroom, because now our students with the biggest needs are underserved. So we are missing that. And in trying to call people, they're not interested. They don't want to come into school, whatever the case may be. But for me, my biggest challenge in our school is we have no space. Last year we were lucky that we had a hybrid environment where kids were learning at home, and we just got by getting kids in classrooms. This year we have no space. Like, we are squeezing kids together and trying to maintain, 3 feet distance, the best we can. We have kids up against the wall in all areas. And granted, they're going to be comfortable. They're going to be fine. They're going to be safe. They're going to be learning. But just being in a classroom like that, rows of desks, 3 feet apart, that's not the environment we want to be in, but it's what we have to do for right now.
And I feel like we're really playing catch up. I think back to 3 weeks ago, we had business day where everybody came in, and as administrators, we said we know we're going to have some kids with masks coming in, because at that point it was parent choice. So we said we're going to put our best foot forward. We're going to put these masks on just to say, hey, this kid that's coming in, the parent that's made this choice, because we didn't think at that time it was going to be a lot of kids. We want to show some support for them. And that was 3 weeks ago. And now here we are in, a rural Southwest Virginia, and we are a COVID hotspot. So, things are changing very, very quickly, and we're constantly playing catch up.
That's nuts.
One of the things, though, even though we have lots of issues because of everything that's happening, I find that I'm really excited about learning new things, and I'm sorry about my dogs. I've learned how to use things in the multi-purpose room that I never thought that I would be able to learn how to use, like the Zamboni, the thing that washes the floor. I've learned how to use that because, sometimes you just have to jump in. And also, of course, our first love is teaching. And so I've been able to teach all grades, and so is my principal. So that's been a blast, just being able to do that. So it's all hands on deck, and it's plan A, plan B, plan C, and then all the way to plan F.
Yeah. If I might feed the positive dog here for a second. One of the things that positives that I see coming, I don't know about you guys, but where I'm at here in Western Kentucky, our kids last year only really got about 9 weeks of in-person instruction. And I have seen a group of kids that last year were, for lack of a better word, just depressed and very outside of the bubble. This year, they have now they aren't going to tell you this, but they have definitely been different when they came into the building. They're happier. A couple kids in particular last year that, and this is graphic, but never washed their hair, and they were a mess. This year, they come into school and their hair is like beautiful, like Fabio. So I see that even through all of this mess, our kids are still striving for and still yearning for structure, routine, procedures, and the love that we can give, even though things are all messed up.
Yeah, it's really interesting hearing from everybody, and school's already started, because here in Massachusetts, or from my district anyway, in Oxford Middle, we haven't started yet. And we're this I swear, this staffing thing, we're still hiring, and we're down to the wire. We're still interviewing, and we're still having a little bit of a trouble just trying to get these folks in. I'm the substitute teacher coordinator for my district too. So I send these folks up to central office, and they're intent to hire forms, and they're all ready to go. And then all of a sudden my administrative secretary for the superintendent is trying to get them to interviews, because it's the superintendent's final hire. And these folks disappear. they're all gung-ho. They want to come in, and then sometimes we onboard them, but they don't pick up jobs. So I don't know what exactly is going to happen this year, but I can say that positive dog thing is awesome, Ryan. I think that's cool. So that positive dog piece is our students. Yeah. If anything we learned from last year is the resilience of the kids. Mm-hmm. They're going to do what we asked them to do, and they're going to be okay with it, no matter what happens. We just got done reading the Zaretta Hammond book, the culturally responsive teacher, and 70% of your communication is your body language. Come on, that right there, when you're in class right now and the wheels are falling off the bus, so to speak, and you have all this chatter out there throughout the country and throughout your district and your families. They're like Ryan said, they're looking for this structure. This is the safe place. We did that distance learning thing. We did that hybrid piece. You can learn anywhere. We've proven that. School's a different spot. That's the special place that we're making. And it's really cool to hear from everybody. Have you already started? And we're right there on the cusp. So I think the positive piece, that positive aspect is definitely going to be our kids. When they walk through that door, it's just game on for them. And everybody here knows that. And it feels good to hear that, when you guys see them, that's what's keeping everybody going. That's what's keeping us moving forward. Not the mandates and everything else that we're all worried about. Kids are there. We're going to make it happen.
I'm just going to jump in as the principal here. And again, only because I love the way you're speaking as assistant principals, because you're there to serve. The bottom line is this: pump the brakes. Okay. Kids want to know that you're there for them. The learning will take care of itself. The teachers need to know that you're there for them. You need to make sure they feel supported. You need to make sure they have a place to come and that they can actually talk to you about anything that's going on to make them feel comfortable about their job. Listen, the masks are going to present some issues for all of us. We already know that. I got 4 calls today about kids that say that masks are a trigger for them, for their anxiety, and they're not going to come to school because of that. But guess what? In our state as well, the mandate came out. You need to wear masks when you're here. So again, our job as educators and leaders is to work with kids and families to help them through this. Because at the end of the day, our doors need to be open and we need to move forward. End of story. Okay. We can't complain. We can't worry about what we can't control. Okay. We're in the people business. Josh Tovar, I know you're listening. You would agree with me 100%. That's why we signed up to do what we do. So we help from A to Z to make sure that those kids want to be in school every single day.
100%. I mean, you can't go any different than that. It's all for the kids. We've been doing this for the number of years we've been doing it. It's all for the kids. And you talk about resiliency. And I think the kids being in school gives us the energy to do what we have to do. And our teachers should be getting that energy. When they see the kids that first day, no matter how nervous they are or how uninspired they might have been over the summer trying to get back, seeing the kids in there with the smiles, we know they're smiling. You can tell by their eyes. The smiles on their faces are what's going to drive us going forward.
Boom. Correct.
Always the connections before content.
One step at a time. One step at a time.
There it is. All right. So one of the things that we have going on, you talk about hiring. I know we said we're having a little bit of a hiring issue, but you're still going to have new staff. So you still have these teachers who want to teach, been a lifelong dream to teach. What are you doing in this environment to support your new staff?
I can jump in here.
Go ahead, man.
Is that all right?
Yep.
So being in a new building, I'm not in a new role. This will be my 4th year as an assistant principal. But being in a new building, it's been so fun to reconnect with our new hires, our first-year teachers, teachers coming to the building with experience. But some of the biggest things are our preschool planning. A couple weeks ago, we had all of our new hires come in and just taught them the Bolivar Middle School way. Like these are our goals and our expectations, and we'll be modeling this, and we hope to see this out of you. And it's been so awesome just to have those connections and those conversations with those teachers and be there to support them. We also have a great instructional coach, so it's like my principal and I and our instructional coach, we're a team of 3, and we are behind our new teachers and all of our teachers, but definitely our new ones, cheering them on and supporting them and reminding them, hey, this isn't what it typically looks like, with masks and social distancing. It gets better, but just being there, supporting them, being their biggest cheerleader, and serving in whatever capacity they need.
That's wonderful.
One of the things I was thinking about when you initially said this question was we have 6 teams this school year. Each team has 4 content teachers, and then we have elective teachers that are combined with that. And we have a number of new teachers in the building, but we have common planning for all of our core subjects. So that was a new addition this year. They collaborated so much last year out of necessity that we went ahead and built in the common planning time for this school year. And one of the things that's really new, they're used to having those department meetings, but having them during the day and bringing admin in, bringing in the instructional coaches. I almost feel it's almost closer to like an elementary situation, having your grade level teams. But we've been able to have good conversations so far, help bring those new staff along, sharing resources, especially as we get started and we're having to put more on Canvas because we do have a large number of students on quarantine. So having that time to have conversations, the time to reflect on what's to come in the week, what we've already done, that's been helpful. And then the second thing, and you guys already touched on this earlier about the relationship piece, but when you have new teachers in your building, the number one thing you can do is constantly go to the room and check on them. Have conversations with them when they're coming in the morning, have conversations with them between classes, go to their room when they're teaching class, go to their room when they have planning, go see their face. Let the whites of your eyes see the whites of their eyes and have that interaction. That's how you're going to be able to judge how that person is doing through those interactions. So I think we have a good model set up for this. I think the common plannings are helping a lot, but there's nothing that can replace going and checking.
Absolutely.
I'd like to piggyback on that. Building those relationships, my principal and I, we worked really hard on building relationships with our new teachers before the school year started. If they wanted help, we asked them if they would like help decorating their room, or we would bring them treats because it's hard decorating a room. And it was 110 this summer. It's still about 109 today. So, drinks, treats. And then now that they're in the thick of it, we do the same thing. We go in the mornings, check on them, make sure they have everything they need. We always tell them we're here to serve you. We do that with our support staff as well, our office staff. We tell them we are here to support you. Whatever you need, we're here to do. And they love that. And we have a brand new music teacher who went from high school to elementary, and he's only been in teaching for 2 years, and watching him is so much fun. So much fun. And we're dancing in his classroom too. So he's getting a kick out of being an elementary school teacher.
That's awesome.
So we got close to 10 new hires in our building alone. There's something like 30 throughout our district. So when we're introducing new staff and whatnot, it's just going to be interesting to see some of the veteran staff and their faces like, this is a new building. This is a new place. That can be a double-edged sword, right? It could be perceived as like, oh my goodness, who are all these new people? I don't know them. Where's my spot? Or, okay, let's learn from one another. And that's what we're really trying to do, myself and my principal, as a united front, say, look, we got more new faces in the building than we ever had. Let's learn from each other. It's our job to set the tone and the atmosphere to be relaxed and to have that learning happen, right? And we have to do it not just with our kids, but with the adults in the building too. And that's how you support the staff. You support the staff by making it not threatening, making that inviting kind of thing to come in. And this concept of the check-ins is so key. I'm going to go to every single one of their rooms, make sure they know my face, make sure they know what I do, individually as well as in the group setting, when we're in our first faculty meetings and things like that. But it's an interesting time to be in the building when you see it physically change with the people that we have coming in. And that part right there, I think, is the catalyst to change. And it can be, like I said, there's a double-edged sword there, but it's up to us to set that tone to make it the positive vibe.
Mike, I'm glad you said that. In our building alone, we have 16 new hires, and that's a lot of faces. In my 20 years plus in education and leadership, I've never seen anything like that. And that's synonymous across all the districts that I know in the Commonwealth. People are moving. People are leaving. People are exploring other options. That's real. But you talked about something that's really important. We have what's called a learning community, and that's everybody in that building. And you want to make sure they're all on step to do what's right to help kids navigate through the day. And our constituents are very simple. The people that we're marketing to are our students and our parents. So we have an obligation to ensure that we are lockstep with what they need in order to make the best environments within all of our schools. Whether you're in Massachusetts, Missouri, Nevada, Virginia, it doesn't matter. That's the job we've chosen to do. So we need to stay on top of that.
Speaking of all these new staff, it got me thinking. I don't know about you guys, but some of my most favorite moments are when we have our new staff and we're just breaking the ice, getting to know each other. And I'm curious to see if you guys have any unique icebreakers, and I'll throw out the one we did this year. It was so fun just to see everybody connect and find things outside of education that they have in common with other people. But we did. Everybody partnered up. And everyone, they were given a scenario. If you're on a strict deserted island, what 3 things would you bring? And it's so fun to see how unique everyone thought out of the box and just people connected. Somehow we had people connecting just things. It was just so random, but it was so fun because those relationships were already starting to build, and everyone is starting to become just that camaraderie was just awesome just to watch develop and grow. It was super fun.
One of the things that we did 3 years ago, we didn't do it last year. We decided to bring it back this year to not have such a sit and get situation for our new teachers. We have a Twitter-based scavenger hunt. We have, I talked about this last time, our campus for our middle school is huge. We have 3 different buildings. It's a big deal. But we took many of the aspects from our handbook that we would have presented to the new teachers, turned them into like a collaborative experience where groups of 3 were able to work with each other. They went all throughout the building, kind of investigating different places, but also talking about, instead of us telling them what we were looking for in the lesson plan, they were coming up with it themselves. They were, what's best practice there, talking about what are 3 words at the end of the school year you want your students to know about you, but also, again, navigating different parts. And what's cool about this is there were about 23 different steps to it. We had a winner at the end. The team that had accumulated the most points. But if you, on Twitter, if you go to hashtag BFMSSOAR, SOAR, that's our PBIS acronym. If you go to hashtag BFMSSOAR, you can see the teachers, because they basically logged everything that they did. So we have that, can go back to it at any point in time and reflect on it. And we shared it out in a couple of different ways. But it was a cool way for them to get to know each other, to get to know the building, and to get to know some of our expectations.
Yeah, man, that's fantastic. Because as cliche as it is, right? The staff has to be a family. They have to be together. They're going to spend 180 days plus together, and then many more years after that. So you have to make a family, and you have to make the connections. And obviously, you have to be careful when you're doing activities like this, because people get nervous doing, stand up, sit down, get in a circle. There's a lot of nonsense out there that I'm sure we've seen at various PD sessions. But, if you do something that's meaningful, you do something that's about connecting, about getting to know the people around you, that's what makes it all worth it. It's not hokey. It's building a relationship. It's building a climate where you can trust people around you and you know who they are and what they stand for. It's not just, yeah, I know Dean, he works in my building, he's a social studies teacher. It's, I know him, I know about his family, I know his why, I know how passionate he is. That's where it all comes together. And we support our new teachers, we support our veteran teachers. It's all the same thing. It's continuous check-ins. It's always finding out what they need, how they're doing, what could we do. As a new guy still in my school, this is my first opening day. I feel like I've been there for a while, but I know the teachers are there to support me, and I know they're there to support the new teachers. And that's why I'm confident that the teachers we're bringing in, they may be a little nervous, but I feel like the people around them are what's going to push them up and really make them feel like they are at home, even after the first week of school.
Well said.
Sure.
All right. So with that, we have a huge challenge coming up this year. So one question we always like to ask here on the AP Roundtable is your biggest passion. So what's something that you're going into this year saying, I want to make sure that this is what I can stand on. This is my big project for the year. So I'm going to ask our new guests. So Tika and Ben, this is going to start with you, and then Matt, we'll get to your biggest goal. What's your passion for this year? What are you doing for your students? What are you doing for your staff and or community as you start the year? So Tika, I'm going to throw it to you first, if that's okay.
Definitely. I think my biggest passion, I know my biggest passion is to ensure equity. We work hard to make sure that all of our students feel comfortable, all of our staff feels comfortable, but we want to make sure everything is the right fit too. So whether it's strategies, professional development, social emotional learning, whatever we're doing to support our students and our staff and our families too, we want to make sure that there's multiple entry points. We want to make sure everybody feels comfortable doing it because of COVID. We also want to make sure that everyone feels safe enough that they can confide in us. Because yes, we're in the business of teaching and making sure our students make progress. But first and foremost, we have to make sure that people feel good about themselves and where they are. So my biggest definite passion is the equity piece, that everybody has a say and everybody feels like this is my place. I know that I can make mistakes and I can also learn from other people.
That's fantastic.
Good stuff. Love that. What was the question one more time, AJ?
No, just what is your biggest passion going forward? What are you working on this year that's something
Gotcha.
you want to stand on?
Yeah, I drive by this sign pretty often going to and from work, and it says "Belong, Grow, and Lead." And I think, man, that's what I am passionate about. I want my building to be like. And so, first of all, kids have to feel like they belong, and I want my students to want to come to school. Like they're so excited. They don't like snow days. As crazy as that sounds, like I want them to come to school, and so that's definitely my focus this year is getting kids loving school and loving being in person. And that starts with at 7:30 when the kids get off the bus. I've got music playing. It may be some song that they've never heard, but it also may be a song from a TikTok dance that they love. And so it's a great way to connect to kids, and it's a great way to get their day going on the right track, especially if it's not going on the right track, whatever's going on at home. So anything from that to sitting down and having lunch with them to this year I'm going to start. I heard on a podcast I listened to a principal starting a podcast with their students, and I thought, man, what a great way to give students a voice and some leadership. And so here in a couple weeks I'm going to start this podcast, just a lunch and learn, and I'll have a snack. I may bring Sour Patch Kids or something, and just talk to some kiddos, and and just let them have a voice and have their students or have their peers and have the community hear what they have to say. So super excited about that, and I'm passionate about. I want to hang my hat on kids who want to come to school every day.
I like that, man. Belong, grow, and lead. And when you get started with that podcast, you better reach out to me. Let me know, because I want to listen, and then I'm going to steal it because I want to do this. That's something I wanted to do with my kids this year too.
Yeah, I stole it as well. So it's awesome.
That's it, right? Don't reinvent the wheel. Steal it. Go ahead, Matt.
So as assistant principals, we all are relationship focused, because at the core of our work, it is students, parents, teachers. I mean, that is kind of the focus of what we do. So every day when I come in, I do have that mindset of build relationships, be there for the students. And one of the things that I really, really focus on, and one of the things that I've thought about for a long time, we have students that go home and they don't have anyone to be their audience. There's not an adult in the house that is willing to hear what they have to say. So I think it's our job as the people in the school to be willing to be their audience and hear them out and take their perspective on things and try to go with them on their thinking journey. So that's something that I always do, but something that I'm also trying to personally do. And I think this is where, hopefully, as I eventually transition into the role of a head principal, I'm trying to focus on building systems for things. I feel like I am very good at doing things my way, but if there's not a system in place for how I did it, the person that comes after me is not going to be able to do it. And you never want to be in a situation, and I think about, good to great, where I come in, I do all these awesome things, and there's no system set in place afterwards, and it collapses. because you didn't do what you were supposed to. Yeah, you were great in the moment, but you didn't set anyone else up for success. And that's a bad spot to be in. So I'll always have my personal goal of connecting with the kids, but my professional goal is to try to set up some systems so that one day when I do take a different position, that someone who comes in and fills my shoes is able to immediately be successful.
That's fantastic. I love that. Mike, Ryan, I'm going to throw it to you. Dean, you can take it as well. Biggest passions going forward for the 2021-2022 school year?
So for me right now, the biggest thing is first of all, getting the kids in, right? Seeing them, seeing what's going on. I really want to solicit student voice, right? I'm a big fan of the surveys, kind of sending it out to them. And I'd kind of, so as much as our core, content areas are key, right? All these things that were taken from our students last year, that social part of the social emotional learning that everybody talks about, the band, the chorus, the play, the musical, right? All of our sports, all of those things right now in Massachusetts, that's coming back so far. And that's what I'm really excited for our kids to kind of like take that live wire and plug it right into the culture, right? And really kind of take that opportunity to reset those things. Like take a look at these, all these things that we took for granted before, we have back now. Now you can represent the school in our cross country. You can represent the school again in our basketball teams and our esports team and our play, right? So those are the things that I'm interested in. We can take our lead from the kids. If some of the things that we traditionally used to do and offer, they're not going after anymore, or they don't want to do, we got to move, we got to navigate. What are they doing? What are they looking for? And I think that's my biggest passion for this year, is really kind of listening to them, taking the lead from the students, because you can't go wrong. Once you take the lead from them and we start to build on their innate curiosity, we're going to get, that intellectual capacity built back up. And we're going to see that growth in our kids. And that's what I'm excited about. Getting those things back in, that's going to help support our main content areas.
I love it, Mike. Go ahead, Ron.
All right. So, so I am super pumped. I don't know where you guys are from, but this year our state has given us the option of performance-based, where the attendance is, so the funding, you do not get funding for a child until they complete the course. And so I'm super excited about that, because I have the opportunity this year to allow students, probably more than ever, to be a come and go student because of life. I mean, plain and simple. Where I'm from, about 30% of our students go off to college. So that means about 70% are staying in the county where the high school is. And so if we really, and I look at it like this: education is in the business of building up the community as much of the community building up, the schools. So I want my kids out of my high school, and I want them being productive citizens in my community. And so these students that are on the bubble, as far as whether they were wanting to drop out, or I have quite a few that literally didn't do anything last year because they were too busy making money for their families or raising their own children. Now I have the opportunity where I can say, look, you literally only need 3 credits and I can work with you. You can come in 1 hour a day. You can come in 2 hours a day. We are willing to bend over backwards to get you out this door to be a productive citizen for this community. So I'm super excited about some of the flexibility that our state is affording us during this time. And I really think it's a game changer. A good friend of mine talks about education as a kind of an interstate, and there needs to be different exits as to how kids earn their high school diplomas. And so this is really exciting to me that we have an alternate path for kids to find success.
It's fantastic, Ryan. That's so meaningful, especially for the high school kids. Like they don't realize what else is out there for them. So good for you. Keep pushing forward on that one.
Thanks, bud.
So I want to chime in because I'm listening to you guys and you're talking like future principals. I love that. You're thinking outside the scope of what you do every day. That's the first sign of where you're going to be in the future. So continue to do that. Matt, going back to what you said, universal design for processes is so important. I think about that when I hear you say that. I say it's about efficiency. It's about working smarter, not harder. when we leave, we want to make sure that those systems are in place. And that goes from communication, that goes to curriculum, that goes to assessment, that goes to everything that we do. And when you streamline those things, your schools become a smooth operating machine. So I love you were talking about that. For me, it's about student experiences. How can you build and give more experiences for every student that walks in that school? Listen, about 1/3 of your kids really get involved with leadership and other things. The rest of them are there waiting for you. And one of the things that I did is I threw out an email to all students. You want to get involved with leadership? Come help me out on my opening day. I don't want NJHS kids. I don't want student council kids. I want the kid who can just be organic about the school and feel like a part of leadership. Leadership is for everyone, and it's our job, as we said, as an AP and a principal, to ensure that we provide the conduit for every student to experience that. Building capacity for others around us. Even though you're in an AP role, think about the people that you can help make them stronger and bigger in their roles and what they do. Think about that, what that means to you in your position. Empowering the people around you. My goal this year is to start a financial literacy program for every student in the school. I'll do it virtually, okay? I'll teach about the stock market. I'll teach about money as a tool. I'll teach about cryptocurrency. Josh, if you're listening, those things are so important because that's every day. And we can do that as leaders. We have the time after school. We can pre-record it. It doesn't matter. We can do it for anyone who wants to get involved. And I also want to make sure that I'm creating students who are dreaming about tomorrow and that they're wondering about the possibilities of what they can do when they leave. I know that sounds ambitious, but in my mind, I never stop, man. My wheels keep spinning. And it's because of people like you shooting out ideas and sharing. That is absolutely amazing because that's what makes us all better.
Man, Dean, I love that. You got to be ambitious. You got to be determined. You got to have those goals. Like if you're sitting there one day and say, another day here, then it's over. So keep being ambitious, keep being determined, keep making those changes. I love it. That's fantastic. Well, I'm going to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We had a great, great crew again, and I thank you guys for your point of view. I'm going to throw it around one more time. Matt, I'm going to start with you, and we'll go down to Ben. Tell us, where can we find you on the socials, websites, podcasts, anything like that?
So I got wise this time. Last time I just had Matt Dunbar up there underneath my name, but you can find me on Twitter at @MattDunbar_VT, Virginia Tech. Go Hokies. I'm also on Instagram. I think it's Matt Dunbar 5, but again, that's mostly pictures of my 2 very cute kids and my very pretty wife. But mainly, if you're trying to connect with me professionally, find me on Twitter.
There you go. Ben, go ahead.
Yeah, same here. I was actually in the midst of the beginning of the podcast. I noticed everyone has their Twitter, and I was like, okay, how do I fix mine and put my Twitter on there? So that's my Twitter handle, Ben Potter EDU. Yeah, I love connecting, love collaborating. Find me on there, and we'll make education in the world a better place.
Amen.
Love it. Ryan, go ahead.
Hey guys, yeah. So you can find me. This is my Twitter handle at Ryan C. Scott 1981. I'm giving away my age. Yeah, also you can find me. I run the podcast, the Big Ed Idea podcast. You can find that on multiple venues. I am coming up upon my 50th episode, and I am really, really looking for some folks. Yeah, absolutely. Really, really looking for some folks out there that just have, like kind of like Dean said, like let's hear some big ideas. Like the more ostentatious, the better. Like what idea do you have to change the world of or through education? Because I really, really, really believe only big ideas change the world.
Love it. Tika, go ahead.
Okay, you can follow me on Twitter at TIKAEE. And I'm also in charge of our school's Twitter page. We try to share almost every day about the exciting and wonderful things that our teachers and students are doing. And that is at JT McWilliams Elementary School. On Facebook, you'll just find things about my crazy 3 dogs, my 2 wonderful adult children, and my fabulous husband. And so I stick to Twitter.
There you go. Mike?
Yep.
Valley.
I'm over here in Twitter land at AP Mike Lavelle. I'm also on LinkedIn at Mike Lavelle also. So that's where you can find me professionally. That's where we'll be at.
Dean, go ahead. Plug away.
Unlock the middle. I just want to stop before I go say anything else. Listen, I'm so honored to be here with you guys tonight. Great job. I love your enthusiasm. Your passion and enthusiasm will lead you through anything you have to be challenged with this year. So continue to make sure that you have that. You can find me on Unlock the Middle. My friend and my co-host and my partner, Chris Starcheski, principal of Dudley Middle School. We lay out as much as we can for anybody out there. It's organic, it's real, and we really do that not for ourselves, but to make everybody better around us. I'm at CMS Principal 1, CMS_Grizzlies. We're all over the place. And again, if you're not on social media to present what you're doing, you're not telling your why, you're missing out on an opportunity, because that is how you can get your message out, because everybody has one of these. Right, Josh Tovar? I know you're watching.
Always. And you can find me at AJ Bianco on any social media. From there, you can check out my podcast, Reflect Ed, Podcast PD. And if you're a Yankee fan out there, check out the Chase 28 podcast, my buddy Chris Nessie, because got to have some fun too and talk about some baseball. All right. Go Yankees. 11 in a row. I love it. That's it here from Navigating Leadership AP Roundtable. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you for watching. Share this. Get involved.
Go Cardinals.
Go Cardinals. They can't even make a playoff.
Go Cardinals. That's right, Ryan.
Guys, have a great start to your school year. Keep doing what you're doing if you've already started. And we will be back in September. Hang out here, everybody. I'm just going to end the broadcast.